Last week, we actually gave an introduction to the question that we are going to discuss. So we have been discussing about the short stories, right? The short stories prescribed for your syllabus. Actually, last week, we gave some introduction to your short story. That is an extract from Wave by Sonali Dharaniyagala. One of the short stories that you have, it can be taken as an extract from the original book. So this was the question that we have been discussing. How unfortunate it is if a woman loses her past, present and future within 24 hours and is forced to remain in the world all by herself. Now I have given that in yellow color because in order to understand the essay type question, first and foremost, you have to pay your attention towards the highlighted words, right? Because I always tell you when you are going to write essay type questions, always make sure to remember when they give you a question in that particular essay type question, you will have to identify the most important words, phrases, and clauses which will help you to construct your answer. Right? Based on those phrases, words, and clauses only that you are going to produce a fruitful answer. So as literature students, it is your responsibility to read the question several times and highlight certain important phrases, words, and clauses. Sometimes they highlight it in the question paper, but it is your responsibility to highlight it and identify that. That is something very much important that you have to pay your attention, right? Something very important that you have to pay your attention when it comes to your writing part, right? Okay, now last week, now we all know that I gave you a brief introduction about this Sonali Dharaniyagala's story, because when we discuss about this story, we have to understand this is very special because of several reasons. Number one, Sonali Dharaniyagala can be identified as a Sri Lankan writer. She's a Sri Lankan writer who used to live in Sri Lanka, who used to study in Sri Lanka, and later she married a British person called Steve, and she got two children, Vic and Malli. So once they came to Sri Lanka for their vacation, unfortunately, they had to face this terrible tsunami incident, and the entire book is about that. Entire book is about her tragedy. The second point that you have to highlight in this particular short story is that this particular short story can be taken as a realistical and authentic short story. What do you mean by authentic? When you refer to this short story, Sonali Dharaniyagala has not used any hyperbole. When it comes to the story, now if you refer to the short story Nightingale and the Rose by Oscar Wilde, you can clearly understand how many literary techniques used by Oscar Wilde in order to get the attraction, get the attention of the audience, right? A lot of metaphors, similes, narrative techniques, symbols are utilized by Oscar Wilde in order to get the attraction, in order to get the attention of the readers. I hope you can understand that, right? But when it comes to this type of stories, right, people really want to engage with this type of stories because of that genuine quality. This genuine quality is known to be the authenticity of the story. This genuine quality can be taken as the authenticity of the story, where the writer has presented the story without adding any hyperbole or exaggeration, because she is the person who witnessed this terrible incident by herself, and she can be identified as one of the victims. So now you can understand this is something special. This is something special. So in this particular question, what are the major things that we have to pay our attention? How unfortunate it is if a woman loses her past, present, and future within 24 hours and is forced to remain in the world all by herself. So in this particular answer, we have to highlight these important words, past, present, and future, and how she was forced to live alone in this particular world. That is quite true, because Sonali lost her parents, Sonali lost her beloved husband, Sonali lost her loving children. At the same time, Sonali lost her family friends. So she lost almost everyone. Just imagine, as a human being, I hope that you also have a family, a mother, father, sister, brother. So whatever said and done, whatever the comments made, whatever the blames that they put upon you, at the end of the day, they are your family. The only place in this world that they don't laugh at our mistakes is the family, right? So we can choose our friends, but we can't choose our family, right? So family is that much important to us. So just imagine Sonali is a character or else a mother, a daughter, right? Where she lost almost everything within 24 hours. This is like a nightmare. She never expected, even we never expected this kind of incident. So you will not understand this particular situation that Sonali faced until you fits into the Sonali's shoes, right? Same incident should happen to you. Then only you will realize how terrible it is to lose your family members and the loved ones. Since you have not met with that type of incident, right? You don't have any idea about that, right? You will read this as a person, as an outsider. Sonali herself actually faced this situation. So she knew what kind of terrible circumstances that she had to face because of this. And before writing this book, actually, she herself confessed the fact that she tried to suicide herself several times because she could not bear the torment. She could not bear the pain. As a result of that, she wanted to suicide herself several times, right? So now you can realize what kind of suffocation that she had gone through in her life because of this particular incident, right? Now she is married to another woman, right? Now she is having a quite peaceful and successful life. But however, she had a very terrible time period after this particular incident. So we will not understand her mentality. We will not understand her pain because we have not identified, we have not met such kind of incidents in our lives, right? So first and foremost, we have to fit into Sonali's shoes. Then only we will understand now, okay, this is what actually happened to her, in order to understand her pain, in order to understand her terrible weakness, right? Okay, so we planned the answer like this, right? This is our plan. I hope that I explained this last week. So we will move on from there. So we have the first paragraph, introduction. That is what we call introductory paragraph, where we are going to give an analysis about the particular author and about the particular story. This is something very common that we all have to write. Doesn't matter whether you are writing a poem, writing an answer for a poem, or else a short story, or else a novel, an introductory paragraph is a must. This is very much subjective. Some students, they write very lengthy paragraphs, but some they only include the most important and relevant details. This is always subjective. Then you have to start with the second paragraph, where don't forget the words, the key words, present, past, and future, right? Those are the three keywords that we have to pay our attention. So in this particular answer, we have to show that how Sonali lost her past, her present, and her future as well. Now, these are the three keywords that you have to have in your mind, right? So in the second paragraph, I am going to write about the authenticity of the story. The story is depicted by the author herself, which shows the reality of the incident, and it attracts the audience. Now, this is something that you have to include if you have already selected Wave by Sonali Dharaniyagala as your short story, my dear students. This is something you have to write. Doesn't matter what is the question, but you have to include the idea of authenticity. If you take all the other 4 short stories, all the other 4 prose passages that we have in the syllabus, all the other 3 actually, Sonali's story can be taken as the most authentic story, right? Because the Lumber Room and Nightingale and the Roscoe, we can clearly understand they are actually very much closer to the fairy tale context. But if you take Sangakkara's story, that is also actually said by Sangakkara, we have not experienced that. So there can be here and there certain things that Sangha wanted to cut and add. So we don't know about that. But however, in this particular short story, or else in this particular extract, we can identify how the writer has tried her level best to write about these authentic incidents. Because certain incidents we can understand, Sonali herself agrees to the fact that I am selfish. Now, no writer will do such kind of a confess. When we read the story, we will clearly understand Sonali is a very much selfish woman, right? So she could have changed this. She could have altered this, right? But she didn't do that, right? So this is where authenticity takes place, right? So we will move on to the third paragraph, how she lost her past. Her parents were isolated by her intentionally, whom she used to live as a young girl. She did not inform them, thinking that their arrival will stall her. Parents represent her past. So her parents in this particular short story represents her past. Before engaging with Steve, she used to live with her parents. So that is why she actually came with her parents. When the incident occurred, without informing her parents, she ran away because she thought that if she waited and called her parents, sometimes that will stall her. So without having any second thoughts, she wanted to save her family, her children and her husband. So she gave up her own family, her mother and father. So her mother and father clearly shows us the past life that Sonali led as a daughter. So she intentionally did not inform her mother and father about this sudden danger. As a result of that, we can clearly understand in the latter part of the story what kind of guilty conscious mindset is presented by Sonali's character, right? Okay. So we discussed about that as well. And then we came to the fourth paragraph. She lost her husband, 2 sons, and she lost her family friends during the same day, which made her life wretched. These are the present relationships she needs to survive instead of her memories, right? So now she wanted to she actually gave up her parents because she wanted to save her family, right? Her children, her husband. But unfortunately, she lost them as well. So her children, her husband, and her family friends clearly depicts us the present, right? The present life that she used to live. And she has to give up that one as well, right? That is important. And then we are coming to the fifth paragraph where we are going to discuss about the future of Sonali. The doubtful and scary mindset of Sonali is presented in the last paragraph when she was inside the water unconsciously, reflects her unknown future. If you refer to the last paragraph of this particular short story, you will realize that when she was inside the water, she openly explains the fact that the future is very much unclear, right? Am I underwater? I only saw the smoky gray water. So what is going to happen to my life? So her future is quite unclear. That is why soon after she got to know the fact that her 2 children and husband and all the family members died due to tsunami, she tried to commit suicide several times. Okay, so I hope that we discussed about these parts last week. Is that correct, Yehansa? Did we write about these parts? Did we complete? Do we have to complete from there? Right, okay. Now let's go to the answer. Now, this is my introductory paragraph. I hope that you guys can see the screen. You guys can write down while my explanation is there. You guys can write down. I hope you guys can see the screen. Right. So this is how I have started. It doesn't mean that you also have to start in this manner, right? This is how I have started. So you can get some kind of idea. Okay, the teacher has written in this manner. So this is an kind of an example answer actually given by me, right? So even you can actually write something very similar to this, or else there may be students whose writing style is totally different than mine. So that is completely okay. You can continue with your writing. So this is my introductory paragraph. I have included about the author and the book, right? Sonali Dharaniyagala is a Sri Lankan who studied, worked, married, and lived in England. An economist by profession, she married Steve Lisenberg, a research professor, and had 2 sons, Vikram and Mali. In 2004, the Lisenbergs came to Sri Lanka on holiday. On 26th of December, they were caught in the devastating tsunami which swept over southern part of Sri Lanka. The extract takes the reader from the sudden, unexpected, awesome sighting of tsunami to the moment of her consciousness after the vehicle in which she had others were trying to flee overturned and she was left battered and alone, right? So the story clearly shows us what kind of troubles and tribunals faced by her soon after she came to this particular land. Within 24 hours, she lost her husband, she lost her parents, she lost her children, and she lost her family members as well. And she became alone in this world, right? She became alone in this world, all alone, right? So this is what actually can happen to any human being, right? We should get ready for this. This is the reality of life. Whether we like it or not, we all have to face the same consequences, right? Whether we like it or not. So hurry up and write down. Please pass me a message. If you have any questions, please make sure to ask without having any second thoughts. You can always ask whatever the questions that comes to your mind, right? Whatever the questions that comes to your mind, you can ask. So this is how you are going to start, right? So I am not going to tell you this is the way that you have to write your introductory paragraph. No, you don't want to. You can give actually the date of birth and date of death. Or in this particular author, she has not died still. But when you are writing about the poems and all the other stuff, you can write about the date of birth and date of death, or else the poetry, movement of the poetry, the time periods, and what kind of books actually written by that particular author. That type of information you can give. This is actually an example, right? So this is actually can be taken as an example. These are the basic things that you have to include when it comes to an introductory paragraph, right? These are the basic things that you have to pay your attention when it comes to an introductory paragraph. This is the introductory paragraph, right? So make sure to write. Writing is very much important. I have told you several times, because when it comes to English literature, make sure to remember you will get 25 to 30 minutes for one question, whether you like it or not. 25 to 30 minutes, right? So you have to write 2.5 pages with 4 quotations. This is not easy. This is not easy, right? So it is a challenge. So you have to practice for this challenge, right? Within overnight, you cannot win this challenge. That is not going to happen. So please make sure to write fast. And actually, it is a talent that you have to practice for a long period of time. It will not occur spontaneously, right? So it is your responsibility to continue your writing fast, because this is something very much important when it comes to your time management. So if you have finished, you can pass me a message. Now we have got the plan of the story, and we are going to write the answer according to the plan that we have, right? So this is what you have to understand. Always when you are writing answers, make sure to have a plan in your head. It will take 10 to 15 minutes. That is totally fine. Make sure to read the question very carefully, and make sure to underline all the important phrases and clauses, and make sure to construct your answer based on that. Now you know that you have to include the first paragraph. That is what we call the introductory paragraph. Then you have to move on from the third paragraph to second paragraph. What kind of quotations that I'm going to select, which will be suitable for this particular question, and how am I going to explain them? These are the things that you have to have in your mind, right? So let's try to identify how I have gathered all these points together in order to write an answer, right? So this is important. Make sure to practice your writing. At the same time, make sure to listen to the lecture, what kind of idea that the teacher is trying to suggest here. If you have finished, please pass me a message. We can move on to the next part. Hurry up. I need 5 students to complete. Hurry up. Please pass me a message. Right, okay. Eumi, did you finished? What about the others? Right, okay. So I hope that you guys have completed. Others, please pass me a message. Once I change the slide, make sure to start your writing. That is very much important. That is something you have to practice, right? Definitely you have to practice. Okay. So I hope that you guys have completed. After the introductory paragraph, now we have to connect whatever the things that we are going to write towards the question, right? Most of the students, they write everything that they know about the particular short story or about the particular poem. Uta, you won't get marks like that. Make sure to learn the poem, make sure to study the short story, and make sure to connect whatever the quotations that you are going to select from your prescribed poem or else from the short story to that particular question. That is why we have to have a plan. Now we exactly know in this particular story we are going to write about how this particular person lost her past, her future and present within 24 hours and what kind of suffocation that she faced. This is the question. So we have to exactly show this is the past, this is the present, and this is her unknown future, right? So only those things we have to pay our attention. There are other sub themes as well here and there. We can connect them as well. No worries. But make sure to have that in your mind, right? So whenever you are going to write an answer, don't deviate from the main purpose. Purpose is something very much important. Some students, they deviate from the main purpose and they say that, sir, I wrote 12 pages, 13 pages, but teacher has not given marks. The reason is they have deviated. Don't deviate like that. Make sure to stick to your plan. That is important. Right. Eumi, can you hear me, Puta? Eumi, are you there in the class? Can you hear me? Yes, Eumi, can you read this explanation which I have given? Can you see the explanation? Shall we read it?
Okay, sir.
Yes. You can start, Puta.
Sonali enumerated the story in first-person narration. This is why the story... Sorry, sir, please. Won the hearts of people. The authenticity of the story also equally contributed to the success of the book. Sonali has presented the all incident which occurred to her without applying any exaggeration. Sonali joined to enjoy the vacation with her parents and family members. She is the only one who noticed the sudden danger occurred in the environment. As soon as she identified the danger, she decided to run away with her family. Intentionally, she didn't inform her parents because he thought it will stall them from escaping. Her parents are one which resembled, sorry sir, what is it?
Resembled
As her past. She used to live with them as a daughter before engaging with
Steve, right? Okay, thank you, Dua. Now, this is important. Now, we have given some kind of introduction with the idea of authenticity. I told you this is the most important part that you have to pay your attention. I'm sorry, you guys can write down, right? So, I started like this. Sonali enumerated. Now, these words are also very important. Now, these words will enrich your answer. Don't always use the word like Sonali shows, Sonali explains, right? Make sure to use some words, new vocabulary, which will definitely enrich your answer, right? Enumerated, right? These words are also very much important for literature students, right? Sonali enumerated the story in first person narration. This is why the story won the hearts of people. This is why the story won the hearts of people, right? The authenticity of the story also equally contributed to the success of the book. That is why this book became world famous, right? That is why this book became very famous, world famous, right? Sonali has presented all the incidents which occurred to her without applying any exaggeration. That is why people actually loved the story, because this is the reality that actually happened to her. And as the author, she openly agrees to the fact that she became a selfish woman at that time period because she wanted to save her children. Any mother will do that. Even though we argue that Sonali is very much selfish, she did not inform her parents, any mother will do the same thing, right? So this is the natural behavior of almost all the people. Even though we are not going to agree with that because we don't have any first-hand experience like that, we will not agree. That is a different case. But the reality is actually we will also do the same thing, right? We will also do the same thing, right? If an earthquake happens in your area now, first and foremost, you will run away. You are not going to inform your parents, right? First and foremost, you will run away and later you will come and check whether others are alive. That is the reality, right? So we all love ourselves, right? First and foremost, we want to survive. Then only we are going to check about other people. This is the natural behavior of any human being, right? Sonali has presented all the incidents which occurred to her without applying any exaggeration. Sonali joined to enjoy the vacation with her parents and family members. She is the only one who noticed the sudden danger occurred in the environment. She is the only one. All the other characters, they did not notice anything at all. That is why Sonali is alive, right? That is why Sonali is alive and all the other characters are not that much lucky, right? So this is what you have to understand. She is the only one who noticed the sudden danger occurred in the environment. As soon as she identified the danger, she decided to run away with her family. She decided to run away, right? Because she loved her family. She loved her two children. As a mother, as a wife, she wanted to give some kind of security to Steve because Steve is an outsider. He didn't have any idea about weather condition or any other conditions of our country because he is from actually British. So he didn't have any idea at all. So that is why Sonali reacted very quickly, right? So she thought it will stall them from escaping. So as a result of that, she did not intentionally, right? Intentionally, she did not inform her parents even. So you may say that this is the greatest betrayal. I will agree with you. There is no doubt about that. But what kind of option that you have at that particular time period? That was my question. What kind of option do you have, right? We all will act the same manner. We all are human beings, right? We can always criticize her, but when we are going to criticize someone, we have to always get into his shoes before criticizing that particular person. Her parents are the ones which resembled her past. She used to live with them as a daughter before engaging with Steve. So hurry up and write down. I hope you guys can understand. This is my second paragraph. And now I am moving to my third paragraph where I will describe about her past and present. But I have given here a small hint because of the parents. I actually informed you about the importance of these parents. They are the ones who actually represented her past. So in that perspective, that's important to us. So hurry up and write down. Please pass me a message if you have finished. Right. Please pass me a message. If you guys have finished, hurry up. Right. Okay. Risha, can you hear me, Dua? Risha, can you hear me? Are you there in the class? Can you hear me? Right. Okay. So we will move on to the next part. Is there anyone who is still writing? Please pass me a message. Okay. Right. No one is there, right? Fine. Right. Eumi, can you hear me, Dua? Are you there? Yes. Eumi, can you see the screen? Can you start reading? Otherwise, it's really boring to listen to my voice. Right. Okay. You can start, Dua. Can you hear me? Okay, right. Seems that she can't hear me, right? Okay, fine. Vishmi, are you there? Oh, Ishini? Ishini, can you hear me, Dua? Oh, Dulatmi? Dulatmi, can you hear me? Dulatmi, are you there? Okay, it seems that they don't like to read. Okay, that's fine. So all our nostalgic memories are remained with our parents. So what we have to understand here is that before engaging with Steve, Sonali used to live as a daughter with her parents. That is why we say parents are actually resembling or representing her past, right? All our nostalgic memories are remained with our parents. They are the ones whom we lived with. When it comes to Sonali's case, the situation is very same, right? They are the ones whom we lived with. She lost her past due to the incident, right? She lost her past due to the incident means she had to give up her parents. So her parents are actually symbolizing her past, all the nostalgic memories that she had with her parents, right? She has deliberately strangled her past in order to save her future and present. What did she do? She understood that, okay, I have spent a long time period with my parents. It is okay to give up. So she actually bargained, right? So this is actually bargaining. She thought that, okay, it is okay to give up my parents. That is totally fine because I lived for a certain time period with them. That is my past. But I cannot give up my present and future for the betterment of the past. Can you understand? So that is why she gave up her parents, right? So here we can understand she lost her past because of her action. What was her intention, Puta? Her intention was to save present and future. That is what she wanted to do. That is why she actually gave up her parents and she wanted to escape with the two children and Steve. When Steve is asking, give me one of them, she did not give because she did not actually give the responsibility even to Steve as a mother. As a mother, she thought about the happiness of her children, right? That is important, right? I hope you guys can understand, right? No, this is the quotation that I have selected from the book, right? So this is important. Certain quotations are very much important. I did not stop for my parents. I did not stop to knock on the door of my parents' room, which was next to ours. On the right, as we ran out, I did not shout to warn them. I did not bang on their door and call them out. As I ran past, for a splintered second, I wondered if I should. For a splintered second, I thought if I should. I had a second thought about this. Now we can understand she deliberately gave up her past. She deliberately gave up her past. This is what happened. Deliberate, she gave up, right? She deliberately gave up her past. I did not bang on their door and call them out as I ran past. For a splintered second, I wondered if I should, but I could not stop. It will stall us. We must keep running. So in order to save her present and future, this is what she did, right? So she gave up her past. This is what actually happened. Her selfish mindset is also depicted here. Later, she was worried about her decision because Sonali's children loved their grandparents, right? So even though Sonali gave up her parents, the grandchildren did not give up their grandparents. Now, this is important, right? Very important and very emotional. If she had called them, they would have been escaped. Her conscience is not letting her to escape from this reality. Even after the escape, the guilty conscious mindset haunted her. This is where we can identify how she lost her past, right? Now, we have logically argued the fact that how she lost her past because of this incident. I hope you guys can understand. Hurry up and write down. Please pass me a message if you have finished. Make sure to take your time to write and write with a sense of responsibility and understanding. Don't write for the sake of writing. He asked us to write, so we have to write. Don't do that. Make sure to write with a sense of responsibility. Try to understand what we are going to show here. What is our major intention? That is important, right? Yes, Ishini, we don't have a specific limit of pages that this is what you have to write down. We don't have something like that. But basically, when it comes to an answer, Ishini, at least you have to have 2 to 4 or 2 to 3 quotations. That is a must. Without quotations, your answer will not be accepted. So there is no point of writing about the summary and all, because using quotations is a must when it comes to literature. So I can't exactly say how many pages you have to write, because some students, they have very small handwriting and they write 1.5 pages, but their content is much more bigger than that. Because of their handwriting, they can only write 1.5 pages. But if you have like bigger handwriting, you will write somewhere around 2 to 3 pages or 2.5 pages, right? So it depends. Always make sure to understand, Ishini, it is not about the number of pages. It's all about the quality of the answer, whether the student is going to write according to the purpose. That is number one. So they have specifically asked about the past, present, and future and how she lost them within 24 hours. That was the question, right? There are so many things, Ishini, that we can discuss when it comes to this particular short story, but we did not discuss about them because we knew exactly what was the question. So we try our level best within the given time period to write an answer which is more suitable for that particular question. Did you get that? So don't think about the number of pages or else the quantity, right? Always think about the quality of the answer. What kind of quality answer that you are going to produce, right? That is what matters always, right? Because when it comes to handwriting and all the other aspects, this can be changed, right? This can be changed. Some students, they write 4 and 5 pages, but their handwriting is very big, so they can write like that. So you cannot measure your answer with number of pages, right? So it is about the quality of the answer, whether you have understood the theory and how you have written an answer based on that theory. This is what you have to understand. Right. So I hope that you guys have completed. Okay. So we will move on to the next part. I hope you have completed. Is there anyone who is still writing? Right. So we started the first paragraph and then we came to the second paragraph, which discussed about the authenticity. And then we moved on to the third paragraph. In the third paragraph, we discussed how she lost her past, right? So we will move on to the next paragraph. One may realize she has lost her past once she forget about her parents because her parents represent the past. This is the quotation that we have selected. We were leaving my parents behind. I panicked now. If I had screamed at their door as we ran out, they could have run with us. We did not get Archie and Sia. I yelled to Steve. This made Vikram cry. So in this particular quotation, we can understand what kind of suffocation and what kind of guilty conscious mindset is actually represented from Sonali's character. She was totally upset because she knew that she has done a mistake. In order to protect her future, in order to protect her present, she has given up her past. This is another quotation that you can use in order to explain the same fact. Symbolically, Sonali's parents reflected her past. She sacrificed her past willingly or unwillingly to save her parents, to save her present. I'm sorry. The tragedy of the story is such that she lost her present as well. Now, she wanted to sacrifice her parents in order to save her husband and 2 children. But the tragedy of the story is such that she lost them as well. This is what we call karma. This is what we call karma, right? So she wanted to save her past she wanted to save her present by sacrificing her past. At the end of the day, what happened? At the end of the day, she lost almost everything, right? She lost almost everything. So this is actually known as karma in Buddhism. What goes around comes around, right? So that is very much important. The tragedy of the story is such that she lost her parents. She lost her present as well. Her beloved husband and 2 sons, Vic and Malli, both faced the same tragedy. Not only her parents, she wanted to save 2 children and Steve, but they also faced the same tragedy. This is where she lost her present. I hope you guys can understand, right? This is where she lost her present. It is quite ironical that how she lost her present when she wanted to save her present by sacrificing her past. Then I saw Steve's face. I hope that you can remember the quotation. right? Because they wanted to actually escape from the particular place, and they saw a jeep, and they jumped into the jeep and they tried to survive. But unfortunately, underneath the ground, water came and the jeep was under the water. So they tried their level best to escape. Once they identified that they couldn't escape, but they did, Sonali actually took the children onto her shoulders, because at least that children can survive for a certain time period above the water, right? So Sonali saw Steve's face. It was full of fury, right? So this is what she explained. This is what she can remember actually from the incident. This is a flashback. Then I saw Steve's face. I had never seen him like that before. Now this is the place where she is going to lose her present, right? A sudden look on terror, eyes wide open, mouth agape. He saw something behind me that I couldn't see, right? So Steve saw the tragedy. Steve knew this is what's going to happen. I did not have time to turn around and look, because it turned over, the jeep turned over on my side. So this is the place where she lost her present. Now we can understand within 24 hours, she lost her past, she lost her present, and in the final paragraph, we are going to explain how she lost her future as well, because in the last line, she is using a very powerful visual imagery to explain the fact that now she has lost her past and present, and her future is quite unpredictable. This unpredictability is quite clearly explained with smoky gray water, right? That part is very much important. So this is how you are going to organize your answer. Before writing an answer, you have to have this organization. When you don't have this organization, you will write whatever the shit that you like to write, and the summary. Most probably you will write the summary. So writing summary will not help you, right? That is what you have to understand. That is already there. What you have to think is, this is a question, and I have to have a novel idea about this particular question and how I am going to answer this particular question relevant to the question. This is what matters, right? You know about the story. Some students are there, they know about Sonali's story more than Sonali, right? But the fact is, you have to write according to the question. That should be your talent, right? Writing according to the question, right? Sometimes some students, they fail to do that. During the exams, during the term test, they perform really well. But when it comes to the exam, they do not write properly, right? The reason is they don't know how to write according to the question. So hurry up and write down. Please pass me a message. Can Nishani understand the answer? What about Dulatmi Fernando? I think you are a newcomer. Can you understand, Buddha? I hope. What about Tanuri? What about Anjani and Zara, Vishmi? What about your perspectives? Can you understand? Right, Eumi has finished. What about the others? Please pass me a message. Okay, Zara has completed. Right. Okay. I hope that you guys have completed. Right. Her future is also quite unclear and unknown. The last paragraph of the story resembles us about her future. She lost her parents, her beloved husband, lovely children, and family friends within 24 hours. Don't forget, we have to include all these facts. I have taken them from the question, right? So her future is also quite unclear and unknown. The last paragraph of the story resembles us about her future. She lost her parents, her beloved husband, lovely children, and family friends within 24 hours. She was the only survivor from the incident, and once she was found alive, she wanted to commit suicide several times because she could not bear the pain and torment. She decided to include all her thoughts into a book and share it with others, and that is how the book became world famous due to its authenticity. So the final line, the final paragraph rather, right? Am I underwater? It did not feel like water, but it has to be. I thought I was being dragged along and my body was whipping backwards and forwards. I could not stop myself. When at times my eyes open, I could not see water, smoky and gray. So this clearly suggests us about her unknown future, right? About her unknown future, without her parents, without her family, without her loving friends, right? So what kind of life that she is going to lead? This is the question, right? So from this, we can clearly understand what kind of message is actually given by her to the audience. The message actually given by her to the audience, right? So she lost everything within 24 hours. For a normal human being, this will be a very tragic story because we can't even imagine how to behave in this type of situations, right? We don't have any clue at all how to behave in this type of situations, but she behaved just like an ordinary woman, where she tried to commit suicide several times, but she was survived. And then she decided, okay, I'm going to share my torment, my pain, and my torture with these people. Then at least I can actually get some kind of redeem from them, right? So this is how we completed the question. So they have asked us from the question about the past, present, and future, and this is what we have explained, right? So hurry up and write down. If you have finished, we can move on to the next question. Hurry up. Right. So you have to write this with a sense of responsibility and with a sense of knowledge, right? So this is how we are going to write an answer. So it is actually a process. This will not come to you like within seconds, right? It will take some time. You have to sacrifice your time. You have to sacrifice your knowledge for this in order to construct this kind of an answer. This is not difficult, but if you don't understand how to write, so it will be a problem, right? So first and foremost, that knowledge should be there, right? You have to have that discipline, right? That discipline is something very much important. When you practice that, you can very easily write this, right? So that practice is something very much important, right? You have to practice this. Practice makes you perfect once you complete this, right? Okay. Right. Okay, if you have finished, please pass me a message. Hurry up. Right, I hope you guys have completed. Lines, it depends, but at least 2 to 3 lines you have to write. One line will not be enough. One line will not be enough. At least 2 to 3 lines you have to provide. Handmade quotations, they will definitely cut marks. You can't write like handmade quotations, but at least 2 to 3 lines you have to include. At least, right? Because like this, right? Something like this you have to include. Because if you don't have quotations, now a lot of students, they ask this question. It is essential. If you don't have quotations, Putha, you are done. That's it, right? You won't get marks. There's no point of writing a lot of information about this particular question and giving a lot of argumentative facts and all if you don't have enough quotations to prove that. So quotations play a very important role, right? Without quotations, it will be difficult. Okay. Right. So we are moving to the next question. Did you finish this? Hurry up. Okay. I hope that you guys have completed. Right. Okay. Shall we move on to the next question? We are moving into drama, The Twilight of a Crane by Yuzua Junji Kinoshita. We basically have 2 dramas. So we are moving to the drama part. I hope that you guys have completed this. Please pass me a message. Did you finish? Right. So I hope that you guys have completed. Right. So we are moving to the drama. Right. What is the question? In the play, The Twilight of a Crane, Yohio's greed destroys happiness as well as the delicate balance of life. Substantiate this statement, right? So you have to substantiate the statement. What was the statement? In the play, The Twilight of a Crane, Yohio's greed destroys happiness as well as the delicate balance of life. So when we read this particular question, what are the important words according to your opinion that we have to pay our attention when we are going to construct an answer, right? Type and tell me what are the important words that you are going to pay your attention. Now the question says, in the play, The Twilight of a Crane, Yohio's greed destroys happiness as well as the delicate balance of life. What are the most important words that you are going to pay your attention if you are going to write for this question? What are the most important words that you have to pay your attention? Yes, anyone? What are the most important words, right? So when we refer to this particular question, we can understand, right? Yeah, so Yohio's greed towards happiness, exactly, right? So Yohio's greed destroys happiness, actually, right? So the greediness of Yohio's character is actually completely changing the entire setting of the story, right? So that is important. So in this particular drama, we have only very few characters. We have Sodo, we have Unsu. Those 2 are known as mercenary businessmen. On the other hand, we have Zu and Yohio, right? The couple, right? Wife and husband. So husband used to be a very much faithful and very much caring husband before meeting Zodo and Unzu. So the Sodo and Unzu actually germinated his mind. As a result of that, he became a corrupted man. He wanted to achieve so many greedy achievements. He wanted to go to Kyoto, and as a result of that, he demanded 2 clothes at once from his wife, knowing that she will definitely lose her weight when she is going to weave. But without taking that into consideration, this is what he did, right? So as a result of that, actually, Zhu flew away from his house, understanding that all the men are same, or else all the human beings are same. They are actually very much attentive towards money more than any other human relationships. Right. So how to plan your answer? How to plan your answer? Now here, I'm going to explain you how to plan your answer. What kind of plan that you have to have. Number one, as I have told you, introduction to the drama and the dramatist. That part is something very much important that you all have to write. How the couple maintained happiness and delicate balance of life. Now, before telling how Yohio's greediness actually destroyed this happiness and delicate balance of life, first and foremost, you have to explain the fact that how they used to live, how they used to have a delicate, happy and balanced life. In order to destroy that, first and foremost, you have to have that, right? You can't destroy something which is not there, right? So they used to have a balanced life, right? A successful life, and Yohio actually destroyed it. How he destroyed it? Before destroying that, how he used to have that. Then the greediness of Yohio's character and how it destroyed happiness. The greediness of Yohio's character and how it destroyed happiness. Then again, the greediness of Yohio's character and how it destroyed the delicate balance of life, right? And then finally, the conclusion. Finally, the conclusion, right? The conclusion should be made. So hurry up and write down the plan, and then we will move on to the next part. Right. Okay. So we will move on to the question now. Now we are going to start with the introduction, right? So this is what I have written. So to the introduction. Only this part can be taken as the introduction. The other part actually belongs to the story, right? So we will start from information. We will give some information about the dramatist first. Kinoshita Junji, born August 2, 1914, Tokyo, Japan, died October 30th, 2006, Tokyo. Playwright, a leader in the attempt to revitalize the post-World War II Japanese theater, right? Now, this is something important. So, Junji Kinoshita actually wrote most of the dramas during the, after the Second World War. So, at that time, actually, the country was totally dilapidated, totally destroyed. People didn't have any freedom at all to go and watch a drama or anything like that. So, Junji Kinoshita tried his level best to as I have given here, revitalize or else to redevelop the theater. Right? His contribution is very much important in that perspective, because after Second World War, mentally, physically, socially, politically, the Japanese theater and Japanese people were fallen. But Junji Kinoshita tried his level best by introducing the folk drama, a new genre called folk drama, by engaging certain folk tales to the drama in order to make this theater something very popular. So in this particular drama, we can see certain ideologies actually represented by these Japanese people at that time period because of Second World War, right? So that is important aspect, right? So wartime censorship grew in rigidity. He turned from contemporary or historical themes to folklore and created his own unique genre called folk plays. This is what I said. Folk plays can be identified as one of the major genres actually introduced by him. Twilight of a Crane is a drama which resembles about the negative influences of capitalism, right? Where it clearly resembles, that can be taken as one of the major themes. We have a lot of themes, and this can be taken as one of the major themes. Twilight of a Crane is a drama which resembles about the negative influences of capitalism. A beautiful couple and their relationship was destroyed by the uncontrolled desire and greed. This greed destroys happiness as well as the delicate balance of their lives, right? So this can be taken as the opening part. Then we are going to the second paragraph. When the drama begins, we can see how Yohio and Sue take care of each other as husband and wife. They emerged as an ideal couple. From the very beginning of the drama, we can understand how they used to play with these children, how they used to sing songs like Nengara and all, right? So they emerged as an ideal couple, right? An ideal couple. They emerged as an ideal couple. They always respected each other. They used to live a simple and innocent life because they did not have targets to achieve. Their simplicity and innocence is depicted from their dialogues and their association with children. Yohio used to be a faithful and caring husband, and Zu is an ideal wife who performed all her duties quite successfully, right? So this is how they are actually depicted by the writer from the very beginning. This is how they have been depicted. So they maintained a balance of life. A balance of life was actually maintained by them. That is what I said. Before going to destroy that, there should be some kind of balance. How you are going to destroy something which is not there, right? So they had that balance, right? They used to be a very good couple, right? They showed a lot of mutual understanding. But unfortunately, because of greediness, Yohio destroyed almost everything, right? That is what we have to prove. Now, first, I'm going to prove the fact that they used to have a very good life, right? But unfortunately, it was changed. So before it was going to change, first and foremost, we have to write, they used to have a very good life, a very good balanced life, a very good powerful family life. That is what we have to explain. So hurry up and write down. Please pass me a message if you have finished. Hurry up. So we are in the second question. We completed the first question. Hurry up and write down. You are in a literature class, so you selected the subject. I did not select. So it is difficult, right? If you don't write, you will never succeed. Some students are thinking that on that day I will perform. I will go and write for the exam on that day. That will never happen now. If you are not ready to write here, you will never write in the exam, right? So writing plays a very important part, right? So make sure to write fast and make sure to pay your attention. These points are very much important. Right. Okay. So I hope that you guys have completed. Now I gave you the introductory paragraph and this is the opening paragraph. Now, my dear students, in order to show that something is destroyed by someone, first and foremost, there should be something to destroy, right? So they used to have a very good life, right? They used to have a very good life, very successful life as husband and wife. Because of the greediness only, everything changed. So first and foremost, I am going to show what kind of relationship that they had. So this is the quotation that I have selected. Giggling, nothing, just going to warm up some soup for you. It is no good unless it is hot. Thank you, my dear. Now I will make supper for you. Now you can understand as husband and wife what kind of mutual relationship that they had. Thank you very much. I will be back soon. Now we are going to play Nengara. Now this is the place where they had their relationship, right? Now let's see what will happen. The arrival of Sodo and Unzu resembles as the corrupting influences of money and greediness, right? Now this is important. Both are mercenary businessmen. They never liked when Yohio earns money without any effort, right? So Yohio used to earn money without any effort because Zhu used to weave that very valuable cloth called Senba Ori, right? So Yohio has to sell it and he will get money. However, Yohio used to be a lazy farmer, right? He didn't do any work. But Sodo and Unzu, they really worked hard and they achieved their success. So they are a little bit upset when this man is actually earning money without lifting a finger. Both are mercenary businessmen. They never liked when Yohio earns money without any effort. They had jealousy towards him. They decided to germinate his mind. This is where greediness plays a role in Yohio's life, which later results in the imbalance of his family life, right? Which later results in the imbalance of his family life. Yohio has never seen Tokyo or else Kyoto. Sodo and Unsu persuades him to go to Kyoto and motivates him to ask for an extra cloth from her wife. According to them, Senba Ori is a popular, expensive and rare cloth which he can sell for thousands of dollars. Yohio was fooled and grew greediness due to the utterances and the synthetic world created by two mercenary businessmen. So Yohio becomes a fool, right? So he falls into the trap, and as a result of that, he became a greedy man, right? He became a man who pays a lot of attention towards money more than relationship. But Zhu never thought that Yohio will be that kind of a person because Yohio used to help Zhu when she was a crane without expecting anything at all. So that is why Zhu came to him in order to show some kind of gratitude, right? And Zhu understood Sodo and Unsu are mercenary business people, but Zhu never thought that Yohio will one day become one like that, right? She never believed that, but that is what actually happened. So here we shows the how that greediness actually started in Yohio's character, right? That is what we have explained here. So hurry up and write down. Right. Okay. So we are going to wind up from there. We don't have enough time to discuss the other slides. So next week we are going to finish this entire question paper by discussing Vendor of Sweets by R.K. Narayan. We have only one question to discuss. Then we are going to write another paper, and from the very beginning we will start. So make sure to go through this. Make sure to write. Make sure to try to understand the idea behind that. Make sure to find some papers and make sure to write your own answers. Right. Writing makes you perfect. Participate for the class with a sense of idea, right? This is what that I am going to write, and check whether the teacher is also going to give the same ideas, right? Okay, so we will wind up the session from there. If you have finished, you can leave the meeting. We will meet next week. Thank you so much.